Hello and thanks for joining me. You find me today on the streets of Kathmandu, risking life and limb in the traffic here. If you've ever ridden here, you know what it's like. So I've been here for a couple of weeks now, just doing some sightseeing, enjoying myself, relaxing, feel my way around the city and the city traffic and everything. And then I have been joined by a couple of friends who I'll introduce in a moment, and we are going to ride over to Tibet. So the plan is we're going to ride up to the Tibetan border, cross over the high mountain passes onto the Tibetan plain, ride eastward, then out to Lhasa, do a bit of sightseeing in Lhasa. I want to visit the Dalai Lama's palace and some of the monasteries there, and then we are going to ride up to Everest Base Camp. You probably already know this, but there are two Everest Base Camps. There's one on the Nepalese side and there's one on the Tibetan Chinese side, and on the Tibetan side there is vehicular access right up to the base camp. It's possible to ride right up to the base camp, so that's what we're going to do. That's the plan anyway. So we are currently in the process of sorting out visas, and we will be off in a couple of days time, hopefully. So I'm riding with a couple of friends. Andy from the UK, we ride together a lot, you've probably seen him in some of my other videos, and Martin from Portugal. And this ride is being organised and led by the guys from Ride Nepal, Uday and Takeshi, who are the owners of Ride Nepal, and they're going to be riding with us on this trip. I've ridden with these guys before. I was over here in 2018 riding with them, and whilst I was over here then, we talked about going over into Tibet. And we were going to do it in 2020. However, COVID happened, China locked down, it was not possible to get into the country. Anyway, now they have reopened the country, travel restrictions are lifted, so we're trying to get the visas, and hopefully in a few days we'll be off to Tibet. But in the meantime, we're enjoying a bit of sightseeing around Nepal, and doing a bit of riding around Nepal and sightseeing around Kathmandu. Right, we're all sorted, the bikes are prepped, we have our visas, we are going to set off tomorrow. So we're just going for a ride today up into the foothills north of Kathmandu to a restaurant to have some lunch, and just to enjoy the views across the Kathmandu Valley. I first came here just over 20 years ago, and Kathmandu has expanded massively over that time. It used to be a relatively small village or town. Now it just takes up the whole valley, so hopefully we'll get some spectacular views and a great lunch up there. Right, this is some view. I'm just going to pan around and show you the view here. Right across the Kathmandu Valley. You can certainly see how Kathmandu has expanded over the years. Just kind of spread out. It's just incredible. I don't know if you can make out on the video, there's an aeroplane just coming into the airport there. really low coming down to the airport. Beautiful. Well worth the climb up here to come and see this. Fantastic. So here we are, slumming it in Nepal.
Almost on top of the world.
Yeah. This really snazzy restaurant here. It's lovely with awesome views across the Kathmandu Valley. Really beautiful.
The riding up here was mixed, fun.
Yeah. Have you noticed there were a lot of landslides onto the road, you know, where it kind of slid onto the road?
It was a little bit disconcerting at times.
Yeah. But,
I don't know if they were big boulders or just large lumps of sort of clay and sand and stuff, but yeah. I think that's what my friends were imagining when they said, I don't think I'm up for this.
Yeah.
Well, but so much fun.
Right, we are off to Tibet. This is us away. So today we climb out of the Kathmandu Valley over some of the foothills, which are quite high, some quite steep roads. Then we drop down into another valley, and once you drop into the valley, it's really quite warm and sticky, but it's cooler as you get up higher. And then we climb up out again, and the idea is to get fairly close to the border with Tibet today, because we've been warned it's going to take the best part of a day to actually achieve the border crossing. So we aim to stay at a hotel right next to the border crossing if we can today. All going well so far.
It's 5 minutes.
Yeah. So we left Kathmandu this morning, about 9:30 this morning, wasn't it? Yeah, and we're heading north.
Yeah.
So we can't we're heading towards the Tibetan border, so we're going to spend one more night in Nepal.
Yeah.
The plan is to cross over into Tibet tomorrow, hopefully. But we can't, it's called the Friendship Bridge, isn't it?
Yes,
yeah.
that's right.
So that's closed at the moment, so we're having to do a loop round to the west, big loop round, then once we cross into Tibet, head back round to the east. Am I correct with that?
Yeah, that's correct.
Good.
We go through the border at Kerum.
Yeah, good. Yeah, so we're having a lovely ride. So this morning we sort of climbed out the Kathmandu Valley. Really steep, but they're good quality roads, aren't they? The roads are excellent, yeah. Climbed out the valley and then dropping down into the next valley. So we're sort of getting down to the bottom of the next valley. And of course, as you get down to the valley, it gets hotter and hotter. So it's quite warm now.
Yeah, so we're halfway down the hill. Another 5-10 minutes will be at the
Right.
riverbed.
Yeah.
Then it's hot.
Yeah,
Here,
yeah.
so like that.
So we're just in a spot of shade here. So we'll get some good footage of the mountains when we get out the trees. You've probably gathered from what you've seen so far that we are riding Honda CRF 250s. These belong to the guys that ride Nepal, and it's one of the things that, well, for me certainly makes riding with these guys more attractive, because just about all of the other rental companies and tour operators in the area use Royal Enfields, either the old Bullets or the Himalayans, and you know, whereas they're good bikes, they are very heavy compared to these Hondas. It's a lot more fun on these Hondas. These Hondas have much better suspension when you get on the rough stuff, but they've got plenty of oomph and they're comfortable enough for these, you know, sections like this where you're on proper roads. So I really love this little Honda, it's great. So just as I said a moment ago, here's a group of another group of riders, and they're all on Royal Enfields. They've got looks like Indian reg plates, these guys. So another big tour group, huge, loads of them, over 20 bikes there. The first fuel stop of the day, the first of many on this trip. There goes that other group of riders. Looks like they're heading the same direction as us, so no doubt we'll see them again. Looks like we've caught up with some of those other riders already, actually. Oh, somebody's stuck. Got themselves stuck on the first rough bit. Obviously not used to riding adventure bikes on this kind of road. Well, if they don't know how to ride on roads like this, they're going to get plenty of experience over the next few miles, because there's plenty more of this. But excuse me, I'm not going to sit around waiting for them to faff around. Let's push on. I'll just stop and admire the view here whilst the others catch up. So I didn't mention earlier, but although we set off this morning, we actually hadn't got our passports back from the visa application process. We've got our visas, but they weren't going to release the visas and the passports till lunchtime, so we set off. Takeshi has stayed behind in Kathmandu. He's going to wait till he gets all of our passports and our visas, then he's going to ride like hell and catch up with us, because of course we're not going to be able to cross the border without the passport, so let's hope that goes smoothly. The forecast is for bad weather later, so I hope he's okay.
I was on the first, and you're saying stop to others, but I just get it in.
Oh, okay. That explains it.
The drinks from feeling tough, drinks strong.
What could possibly go wrong?
Just had a very nice little tea break at that last village, and we're heading off, get a few more miles under our belts before lunch. When I edit this video, I'll show some maps of where we are. So we're sort of heading almost directly north out of Kathmandu up to the border, to the Friendship Bridge crossing, and it's about 130 kilometers riding today. But I find, having ridden in Kathmandu, having ridden in Nepal a few times now, I find it's very hard to sort of relate distances here to distances travelling in other countries such as Europe, the UK, America, just because the road conditions are so variable. So we're expecting it to take us about 6 hours riding time to do that 130 kilometres. You know, that doesn't include stops and what have you. So it's a fairly full day's riding. And another issue that we are encountering is that because the other main crossing is closed, there's a lot of heavy goods vehicles coming up this way, because this is the only way they can get over into Nepal. And yeah, these roads are just not built, certainly the bits that are unpaved, they're really taking a pounding. So when we get to the unpaved sections with all the big heavy goods trucks going over them, are really chewed up. But we're on the right bikes for the job. It makes it fun and interesting. We're climbing up again. We had lunch a little bit further down the hill. We're climbing up, stopped for some awesome views here. I'll pan the camera around and show you.
Let me try to get a picture of this empty. Sure, we go.
We've got caught in a bit of traffic jam here with all of these big goods vehicles. They don't half pump out some fumes, these things. Quite unpleasant sitting here stuck in them, but we'll be through. The great thing about these little bikes is we can just nip past them once we get the chance. Right, we're clear of all the traffic again, off on our own, and the views from up here are just incredible. It's so lush on up here, you know, and these, you know, you think of the Himalayas as being you know, snowbound, but in these foothills here, it's so lush, and it's actually very, very warm, very comfortable riding. Lovely, lovely. Just got to make sure you keep your eye on the road, rubbernecking all the time to look at the views. This is another typical Nepalese mountain village. We've ridden through loads of these, and you know, they all seem to be like permanent building sites. Back when they had the huge earthquake here, a lot of buildings were damaged, and so they've been rebuilding them all far more substantially, which of course is great. So there are all these concrete based structures, reinforced concrete based structures going up, but I don't know if it's something to do with tax or whatever, but none of them ever seem to be finished, but beautifully decorated. You know, if you see the way that they paint and decorate the houses here, lovely. There's another great big convoy of trucks here. These guys are amazing drivers, how they managed to negotiate these trucks down these mountain roads on such rough terrain, and most of them have got totally bald tires as well. We do see quite a few broken down and you know, some come to an unfortunate end, but most of these truck drivers are quite young lads. You know, I've been chatting with some of them, and yeah, very young lads. So this is our lodge for the night, our last night in Nepal, hopefully.
Yes.
Planning to cross over into Tibet tomorrow. And look at that view, isn't it wonderful? Really kind of wedged in the mountains here. Can't fit it all in the camera, it's so tall. Wonderful. We have had an excellent ride up here today. It's been really beautiful. I've been amazed the amount of roads that have been paved, but there's still a considerable amount that's unpaved, and it's great fun on the little Hondas, but yeah, it must be quite challenging driving these big trucks down them, and some of the buses. So this is our guest house for tonight, Sonam Guest House, lovely, and we're just short of the Tibetan border. These electric vehicles are being shipped over from China. We've passed a few of them on the road. Imagine buying one of these from a dealer brand new, being told delivery miles only. And these as well, these electric minibuses, they're plugged in. There's a charging point over here, they're plugged in charging. And this is my little Honda that I'm riding, CRF 250L. If you're wondering what tyres we are running on all of this rough stuff, they're only like 50-50 tyres. They're not that aggressive, but they've done remarkably well. They felt very sure-footed of these tyres riding along today. They are, you can't see the label on them now because they're so dirty. They're sort of Michelin copies. They're not Michelin, but they're Reese, I think it says there. There we are. Turn the camera upside down. That's the label. Reese, Rice, how you pronounce that, but they're sort of copies of Michelin's. Very impressive, very sure-footed on the tarmac, and very sure-footed on the loose stuff. Even I've been surprised at how well they've done in the mud, because we've ridden through quite a lot of mud. Being great. So yeah, it's the Honda. It's a great little workhorse, really. Done us proud. Next to our guest house, there's a couple of other R bikes there. That's Andy and Martin's bike there. Look at this, a whole field full of electric cars coming over from China. Huge field full of them. All being driven over. Don't know if you can hear me over the noise of this helicopter, but it would appear that the way for wealthier travellers to do it is via helicopter, so you don't have to do that long arduous road up from Kathmandu in a bus.
Yeah.
Now, first of all, I'm not sure whose fault it was. So because it was in the middle of the road, and I said to the guy whose leg was all smashed up, I said to him, you were on my side of the road with the turn, and I pushed you that side. I said, don't do that. And you went and hit somebody.
So we've got to the inevitable traffic jam at the Chinese border here, the Tibetan border. Just all of these trucks jammed up all the way down the valley. We are at the border now and we're waiting to try and get across into Tibet, and there's a lot of groups of Indian pilgrims here coming to Mount Kailash, and Uday is keeping them entertained with some Nepalese songs. So finally we're in Tibet. We're actually on the Tibetan, the Chinese side of the border now. We've met up with our minder here, and we've got our luggage across, we've got the bikes across. Quite a palaver, I'll maybe explain later. But yeah, we've been stuck here about 6 hours or more. We're all pretty tired, so we're going to head off. I think we've got about 50 kilometers to the hotel to do now. Right, we're off. Let's do some riding in Tibet. Let's get ourselves out of here because we've been stuck at this place for too long. Yes, it's been a very interesting experience getting over the border, but ultimately here we are, no problems. All went smoothly, just took a very, very long time. Well, finally we are in Tibet. It took us 6 hours to get across the border. It's quite a painfully slow process, but we got here eventually. And so this is the foothills here. We're riding up through this very deep valley behind me alongside the river, and the places the road had been washed out by the river and they're repairing it, but generally the roads are really good here, and you notice we're riding on the right hand side here in China, whereas in the left in Nepal. So not many miles to do today. We're heading to the hotel. The clocks have jumped forward quite a bit with moving from Nepal into China time, so we've lost a lot of time today at the border checkpoint and with the clocks moving. So quite a gentle day's riding to the hotel, put our feet up, and tomorrow we've got a big day of riding, going over some high passes. So looking forward to that, but just chilling today. So you can see here that the standard of the roads on the Tibetan side is excellent, and I have been told that, you know, the Chinese have built lots of roads here, and there's not as much traffic on this side, so we've got excellent roads and they're very quiet. And as you can see, we're driving on the right hand side of the road here. In Nepal you drive on the left, well, most of the time. Some of the time you just drive where you can, but officially you drive on the left. So why did it take us so long to get across the border? I'll try to explain. Firstly, and this is partly due to the time difference between Nepal and Tibet, the border crossing doesn't open till 10 o'clock, and then they only open for 2 hours, and then they close again for, I think it was another 2 hours. They close for lunch or something like that. Because the other main border crossing is closed, I guess this one is much busier than it would be normally, and there were a lot of parties of Indian travellers going to Mount Kailash. Mount Kailash is in Tibet, but it's a holy mountain for the Hindus, and it's a sort of place where they try and go on a pilgrimage once in their life. And political relations between India and China are not great at the moment, so I think it's fair to say that these poor pilgrims were being given quite a hard time by the Chinese. I've been told that they couldn't get in on Indian passports, so they were all either travelling on British or USA passports for all of these people. We just got caught up in the middle of that, but we got through eventually. Well, this is our hotel for tonight then. The Mustang Nepali Hotel. Didn't hear me for that truck going back. The Mustang Nepali Hotel and Restaurant. And this is clearly the colour of local taxis. Green and orange. Very striking. And that's the truck with our bags in. This is our first experience of a Tibetan town. We're just having a little wander around, a little look around before we eat our evening meal. Interesting place. One striking thing is that all the vehicles in town are electric. Okay, we're off again. We just had breakfast, setting off to tackle a few passes over some high mountains today, I think. Interesting, our first real chance to get into the heart of Tibet today. Really looking forward to it. This is our first fuel stop in Tibet, and interestingly they're really reluctant to let motorcycles into the filling station. Our Tibetan minder sorted it for us. I think that without the minder we wouldn't be able to get in, and what they seem to have is this strange system where you have to park out on the road and fill up a watering can, a watering can full of petrol and carry it out to your bike. But thankfully I don't know what he said to them because language barriers here, but here we are filling up. I think I've mentioned the Tibetan minder a couple of times, so perhaps now's a good time to explain that we can't just sort of travel freely. Hello, what's this? Bit of slow traffic. We can't just travel freely here in Tibet. We have to be accompanied by a Chinese government approved guide, i.e. a minder. And so it's fine. He's a Tibetan guy. He's really nice, really helpful. Already we've found that he's invaluable because when we were at the border crossing yesterday, he suddenly appeared, spoke with the Chinese guards and waved us past all of these huge queues of Indian pilgrims. So all these poor Indians were really, having a slow time getting through, and we were waved past, so yeah, thanks for that. And he's travelling in a truck, and he's got a driver with him, so there's the two of them, the two Tibetan guys. And we've already been through a couple of army checkpoints, police checkpoints, and again he just kind of smooths the way. He appears in his truck, jumps out with this huge folder he's got of all the documentation and paperwork, speaks with the guards, and we get waved through. Likewise, we couldn't get into the petrol station, but he turned up, spoke to the attendants and waved us in, and we just filled up as normal. So yeah, proving to be very helpful. I spoke about our Tibetan minder a moment ago, and I just, on that subject, I'll point out that I'm very much aware of the language barrier when I'm travelling here. Obviously, the local language here is Tibetan. The Tibetan written script is entirely different to English, so I can't read anything here. I can't speak any Tibetan. I do speak a little bit of Mandarin Chinese, and I can read a little bit of Mandarin Chinese, but I'm certainly not fluent enough in Chinese to be able to start discussing the ins and outs of whether or not we're allowed into petrol stations. So this guy speaks Tibetan, he speaks Chinese, and he speaks Nepali as well, I believe, and he speaks pretty good English. Very, very impressive guy, and very nice guy. So yeah, already I'm very happy that we've got him, and he's very laid back, very relaxed. Yeah, so yeah, working out so far so good. And of course the great thing is, because he's got the truck and the driver, they are carrying all of our gear for us, so we just set off and we just sort of agree where we're going to meet for a cup of tea or lunch or whatever, and meet up. So it's proving great so far, is this. Good morning. What a beautiful day. We're really climbing in the mountains today. So last night we slept at 2,850 meters, and we're climbing up to 5,200 meters today, so that's quite a climb. So I'll have to see how I get on with the altitude. So far so good, I'm feeling 100%, but we just stopped to have a look at this awesome waterfall. It looks like the road's been washed away by the river here. They're doing some repair work. I have to say, all in all, the standard of the roads is absolutely fantastic here, and they're fairly quiet. Mind you, we're not on a main route here. They're fairly quiet, so we're just cracking on and really enjoying the riding. We are following the course of this river up the valley, and we're just climbing all the time. Probably on my GoPro camera it doesn't show you how steep it is, but we're steadily ascending, gaining height all the time as we ride here. These rock formations on the left are really spectacular. And you can tell from this river that at times there's a lot of water comes down here. One thing I've noticed already as we pass through, we've been through a couple of towns now, as we pass through these big towns, the Chinese influence is huge. You can probably see here on all the shop signs are in Chinese. Some are written in both languages, both Tibetan and Chinese, but I get the impression that most of the businesses are owned by Chinese people, and I also get the impression that all the money is with Chinese people. What we've seen of native Tibetans on the whole is basically subsistence farming. I'm sure there's some wealthy Tibetans as well, but in the main part the money seems to be with the Chinese people who've moved in. We have just been climbing and climbing and climbing steadily, so we got out of that deep valley, and then we're sort of onto these plains, and then coming up another valley, following the river up. We are getting very high now. I'm really feeling the altitude now. Breathing's starting to get quite difficult. Going to concentrate on riding. Wow, this is great. Well, here we are. This is 5,200 meters. Then we're going to drop down to the lake over there.
Higher than Everest Base Camp.
Higher than Everest Base Camp. Pretty cool, eh?
By 38 meters.
By 38 meters. Okay, got you.
5,236 meters above the sea level.
Yeah.
Here, this is a little bit higher than the Everest Base Camp.
Okay.
Tibet side, the Everest Base Camp is 5,200 meters.
Right.
Here is 5,236 meters.
Right.
And the people, Tibetan peoples, used to hang in the prayer flag
Yeah.
on the top of the pass
Yeah.
and nearby the lake or roof of the family. It's all of those traditional, it's a note from the Buddhism, that's traditional from the Bon religions.
Right. Right.
There's got a 5 color on that prayer flag. The beginning on the top, there's a blue. Blue is a symbol of sky. And second one's white. White is cloud. Red is a fire. Green is a water. Yellow is earth. On these 5 kind of different color of the prayer flag to write in the Buddhism scripture. Then if you hang that on there, then it can bring you for your good luck. So we call it a lucky flag.
Thank you.
Okay.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hard
to believe.
This is awesome. This really is the roof of the world. 5,236 meters. Yeah.
It says on the sign.
Yeah. Higher than Everest Base Camp. Pretty cool, eh? Pretty cool.
So,
Don't mind saying that I'm feeling chuffed with myself.
Mount Snowdonia.
Slightly higher than Snowdon, yeah.
we're sorry.
Yeah.
We're sorry.
Yeah, you can definitely feel the altitude up here. Yeah, I'm feeling it, yeah.
I'm going to walk over to the flags.
Yeah, let's go and have a little explore. Just look at all of these prayer flags behind me. Monstrous, isn't it? So we're just having a little explore up here, but I've got to admit I'm taking it steady. I'm not running around because you get out of breath fairly easy up here. Feeling okay, and we're about to drop down about 1,000 meters down to the lake now, so that's good. But really chuffed that we come up here. This is what it's all about. Wonderful, isn't it? Just pan round. Wonderful. Well, that was our first high mountain pass. Thoroughly enjoyed that. Very exciting to ride up to such an altitude, but we're dropping down quite a bit now to this big lake. So looking forward to seeing that as well. It's just so beautiful up here. Really, really enjoying this. This really is a beautiful spot here, and I'm surprised it's actually a bit touristy. Obviously aimed at Chinese tourists. Everything finding is aimed at Chinese tourists, not the people from other countries. But this is really beautiful. The colour of this lake is unreal.
You know, would you like to drink some tea or coffee?
Very civilised. Cup of tea would be lovely, thank
Cup of
you.
tea?
Yeah.
Oh,
Can I have a coffee?
This is very civilised.
I didn't
Very
got the tea
civilised.
bag. I just got the lemon tea and
Yeah. Enjoying the scenery.
Hello, man. It's
a hard life, isn't it, for someone? Okay.
Yeah, very good. And the name of this lake is called Pico Lake, I think. It's Pico Lake? Pico.
Yeah, Pico.
Pico Lake.
Pico. Tibetan language called the Pico Tso. Tso means the egg.
Bikucha. And La means pass, huh? That's also
Yes.
Tibetan. Anyway, La. Thorang La. No, that La is pass.
I'm just trying some yak jerky. I'm going to be chewing this all afternoon. It's very, very chewy. I think maybe I had a too big a piece. Very chewy. Nice though, good. We've just turned off the main road and we're heading down to the lake here. Martin said he wanted to get right down to the lake, so yeah, it's just so beautiful. We're going to go and have a little look down there. I love the vastness of the landscape here. For me, this is so beautiful. I mean, I don't know if you're watching this, you might think this is a bit barren, grim, but oh, I just love this kind of huge, open, vast landscape of, well, basically nothingness, but raw nature. It's wonderful. Here we are then, right down by the lake. We're going to stop and have a little explore here. This is so beautiful. Right, we're off again. I find that when I'm riding the bike I'm absolutely fine, but when I get off the bike and start walking about, that's when I feel the altitude, start getting just a little bit breathless. I can feel my breathing labouring a little bit when I'm walking around, but I think, you know, travelling on the bike, because you're not actually exerting that much energy, absolutely fine. We now have quite a long ride across this huge open plateau before we drop down a little bit more to our hotel for tonight. So yeah, looking forward to just getting some miles in along here. The road's very quiet, the landscape's wide open. It's fantastic riding, is this.